Hi, a lot of people we have tonight here. I hope you'll enjoy our meetup, and thanks for coming. Okay, so my name is Luminița. You already met probably my colleague Betty. I was a bit late. I have a computer science degree. Just a short history about me. I have a computer science degree. I've been working as a QA, which means quality assurance, for more than 5 years, but now I'm currently in transition, let's say, and searching for developers jobs, junior. So yeah, this is basically our agenda for today. We'll talk a bit about PyLadies. We will start with what is version control, what is Git, and we will start the configuration. We will do install. If somebody doesn't have Git installed, we will do it on that step, configure Git, and then we'll have a hands-on session and play with Git basically. So PyLadies, we are basically PyLadies is an international group. It's mostly related. We are basically doing meetups for women in tech. And we also have a hub here in Berlin. You can find us on our website or on our meetup page. There you will see all our past meetups and future meetups. Yeah, you can see on our YouTube channel some past meetups. We also have a Twitter account. You can go there and follow us, or our GitHub account where we have like past materials. And we will go, for those that don't know GitHub, we will talk about it later. Okay, so about version control. I'll start from the beginnings, let's say. Well, imagine that you want to work on a project, or you are working already on a project, and you want to deploy that project at one point, of course, and see it live or whatever. And after you deploy it, then you are doing some new configurations, and you are deploying again. And sometimes it may break the second time, and you might want to go back in time, which means you might want to do some versioning. So basically in the past you could do that by copying your files and renaming it. So like readme1 means like version 1 of your project, readme2 version 2, and readme3 of course version 3. So you could go back in time to per project. Like in our example, if your project broke on readme 2, on version 2, you could just go back in time for version 1. But yes, because this, and also, let's say, imagine that you want to share your project with other people. Version control makes it much more easier for you to do that. Like version control systems, I mean. Makes it much more easier. This way you don't have to copy your files on a stick and go to that to your colleague, or send them through email or whatever means. So basically the version control system do the versioning for you, and they also can make this sharing very, very easy, as you'll see in the talk. Yes, and this brings me to Git. I think I went a bit too fast on those 2 slides. Do you have any question about what is version control? Does everybody know what does that mean? Yeah, okay, so it's pretty straightforward. Okay, then let's go to Git. Basically, Git it's a system that implements this version control. And it's an open source system. Was created by Linus Torvalds. I hope I say it correctly. It's the guy basically that created Linux. It's fully distributed. What does this mean? Basically, you have a copy of your whole project on your local machine. So imagine you have your project on a server, on a central server somewhere, and when you want to work on that project, basically you are copying the whole project on your local machine and you are working it there. So you are not, and all the colleagues that want to work on that project will have a copy of that, of the same project on their local machine. Basically this means what distributed is fast, yes, because like I said, because you have the whole project is on your local machine, you have very few to do with the network. So that's why it means it's pretty fast. A lot of the operation, or most of the operations, you can do them on your local machine. Yeah, it provides support for nonlinear development. This might be a bit unclear now, but when we will go to branching a bit later, will be clearer. Basically, what this means is that, let's say, so you have your project on your machine, and let's say you want to work, I don't know, on a feature. You are creating a website and you want to change the buttons of your website to make them red. Let's say you basically create a branch. A branch is the terminology in Git, and you start your work on this branch and making your buttons red. But you are not done yet. And I don't know, your boss or somebody comes to you, or you have another idea, and says, you know what, we have to implement this thing very fast. We have to change some text in some files, and we want it now. So you don't want to lose your work on the red buttons. So you will create another branch in parallel with your red buttons branch, and you will work on that branch and change your text. So this means that you will have like two parallel branches from your original project that are basically different. You are doing different things on those. So this means like that it's non-linear, so because they are parallel. But you will understand more on when we will play a bit with the branches and handles big projects. With Linux kernel, it's using this, so yeah, I think it's self-setting. Okay, so about collaboration platforms. We wrote here GitHub and Bitbucket. GitHub is quite popular. I think probably everybody from here used it who used Git in the past. But they have your repos, your repositories are public. And Bitbucket, another equivalent to GitHub, but has more. You can create more private repos. And this GitHub LFS is like for large file systems. I don't know, after more than 50 gigabytes from what I understood. Yes, and on the second link, why I put those, basically in GitHub, if you go to github.com and you go to /explore, you can see like a bunch of repositories. Basically a repository is a project, the project that you want to work on, or your own project. Okay. Then we will start faster our hands-on session, and we will actually create our own local repository, our own project, and we will add a few files, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, actually I have to say that hello, I'm Betty, for those of you that don't know me. I learned Git 2 years ago here in this PyLadies meetup, and I'm using it since. From Patricia, who is sitting over there in the in the blue shirt. Yeah. So first of all, let's check our ID. And everyone that gets that does git config global username, and you can config. You can have your ID here, your username, your name, and your global user, your email.
One thing, everybody. If when you have set your config with -- global, and then if you try to execute this git config username and you don't see your name, then it means that you have two configurations. You have the global one, and then you have one local to that particular repository you just created. So in that case, you either have to set your name in your local one, or you have to delete. Like, for example, she has a problem where she had a different name in the global configuration and in the local configuration. The global configuration is something you use by default. If there is something in your local, it takes priority. So if you see there is a conflict between them both, either delete your name on your local one, I can tell you how to do that, or just set your name on your local one as the one you want to use. And that means you execute this thing, but without the minus minus global.
So now we have configured, and now we go to the next step. Okay, find a place in your, I don't know, in your desktop, wherever you want, and create a new directory, okay? Okay, create a directory under the name hello. Okay, first we make a directory. And then we go in the directory, cd. Okay, that's nice. So everyone, we are there. Okay, then we do git init. That means initialize. So it's like you have to think about git and this. For me, this command is like putting a camera inside this folder. So now keep track. It's like the NSA of GitHub. You can think it about like that. Keep track of everything. Okay. So and then you create a new file. You can open it. You can create it with Vim, or you can do it also with touch. Maybe do it with touch. Another file. Do it like that. Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
So with git init, you created your project, and your project is empty except this. It will have this .git init by default. So ignore full text for now. This one we just created. So your project will just have this, and inside this project, inside this folder, here is where Git is saving the commits and the branches and basically his database and everything. One very useful command is this git status, which basically tells your status, the status of your project. Let's say you can do it now, and you can see after you are adding your file, and you should see something like this.
So every time you make changes, you can make changes in many files, but git status will always say to you, okay, you have changed this and this file. Okay, now we did the status, so everything is red. So there are some changes there in the repository. What Git does, you go. It has two stages. So here is your working directory. So it has one stage, a stage area. It's like you are there. You're taking just a snapshot of your things that you changed, and then you move on into commit, into saying yes, okay, I really want to keep these changes. Is it clear? So how you do that? You do that with git add. With git add, you are in this stage. You're in the staging area here, in the intermediate step. And with git commit, you are in this area. It's like, yes, I really want these changes. Okay, let's do that.
So basically, as you can see, you have three stages. You have 3 stages of Git, and so when you are working on a file, you are on the working directory, and your things will look like this when you do Git status, and it will even tell you at one point that you have nothing committed, nothing added to commit, but untracked files present. So this is your working directory still. Then there are the the other two stages. The staging area, which basically means that I'm adding my files to the repository, and this is done, like Betty said, with the git add command. And then you are committing this, the things that you added to the repository, you are committing them in the Git database, in the .git directory that I showed you earlier, the one that was created automatically with the git init. And this is done with the git commit. And if you will do a git status after you did a git add, so basically here you can see two stages. The working directory basically is this, let's say, which tells me that, okay, I have worked on this readme.txt file, but I haven't committed it, I haven't added it, so it's not on the second stage. But this file, for instance, I added it, so this file is in this stage. So foo.txt is on this stage, and readme.txt is on this stage. Any questions until now? It's a bit difficult, like these Git stages are like the most important thing about Git.
This is the part that took me longer to understand. And I end up imagining it like, imagine that you are, you really want to zip a project, but imagine that we are in the very old times, and you still have to send your programs printed. And you know, when the computers were like these cars with holes. So you are preparing your car, and at some point you say, okay, this car is ready. And you have to prepare this box that you are going to send to your company with all your programs, right? So at some point you decide, this file is ready, so I'm going to print it, and I'm going to put it inside the box. This is doing this git add step. This file that isn't already there, you cannot, like the printed version, you cannot modify it because it's already printed. You can keep working on it if you want, and you can decide to print it again, and then you remove the ones you had in the box and you put it back again. But basically it's something like a screenshot, like a snapshot, like Luminița said.
So, like she said that you cannot, so on the working directory, you basically can do whatever you want at that moment. You can modify the files, whatever. And the tracks, the changes are not recorded at that point. When you do git add and you go to the staging area, it records your changes.
It takes a snapshot.
It takes a snapshot. And now let me show you if I'm changing, for instance. Okay. So basically I changed the file that was on the staging area, and now so it recorded my first changes, which my first change was just creating the file. It recorded that one on the staging area, and now as you can see, it shows here that I modified it. So you have here a snapshot of your first recording of that file, the creation of the file, and here it shows you that you modify the file again. So this file is basically now in two stages. It's in the staging area where it already recorded a snapshot of it, and it's also in the working directory because you modified it, added a new line to it.
Yeah.
Maybe you can understand it now better. And now if I will do again git add on this file, it will create another snapshot with that modification, with that just new line. Yeah, on the staging area.
And committing is basically taking all this snapshot, taking all these papers, closing the box, and send it to the repository, to the person you want to record. Everything that you do here and you change, you are overwriting. Like if you change everything here, you don't keep any history of what you did before. Once you add here, you also, like one snapshot replaces the other snapshot. But once you put it on the repository, it's not replacing anything. It's adding a new version.
So you can think of like the first two areas. Yes, you can think of overwriting. But once you go to the directory, to the git directory, to the commit, to the database, from that point on, it's only creating new copies, new versions. Yeah, exactly.
So let's try and do a commit. Okay, I'll commit this. So by default, when you do git commit, it will open your default browser. So if you are on Windows, I don't really know what will open. You can try it. If you are on Linux, it will probably open Nano, I think, or Vim. Okay. If you have problems, let us know. I will show you afterwards a much easier command for the commit, and that will like kind of skip this. So basically, git commit by default will first open your preferred editor. You have to write here like a message. I don't know, first commit. You have to save it, and it has done the commit. Okay, if you didn't do this step, don't do it like this. So what are you doing?
Commit minus me?
Yeah. So Betty will show you. You can do the same commit, but like I said, instead of just commit this. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of opening your default editor, you can specify from the command line the message that you want to add with the -m.
Okay, one very important thing is when you're here, you will write a comment now in the commit. Very important is to write a comment that, you know, if someone reads your code after that, or you yourself also really understand what you're doing, you know, this is the idea, to do, okay, that I really understand what I'm doing. It's very important to write very clean comments when you write, but I will write now a very crappy one.
You can use the git config command from the beginning where you specify your username and your email address. There is an option core.editor, and you can basically, instead of user.name, you put core.editor and you specify your preferred editor. Or you use the -m option if you don't want to use the editor anymore. So basically we did 2 commits, and with these 2 commits we ended on this stage. And if you do a git log, this command here, this basically shows you your history. So you will see like all the commits that have happened on this repository. So as you can see here, we have done 2 commits. This basically it's the commit ID. This it's unique. It's a unique ID, and basically based on this ID, like Git can get your previous, let's say, version that you preferred. And you have the author and the date and the message. And all this data is saved in the Git database. It will only commit the files that you have on the staging area. So like in my previous example where I had like a file was on the staging area, I don't know, foo was on the staging area, was green, and then I had the readme which was red. It was on my working directory. If I would have done the git commit, you would have committed only the foo.txt file because that was added. Yeah. I will recommend for like beginners to specify, to be explicit and specify the name of the file that you want. This way it will be much clearer for you what is being added and what is not being added.
I think it's a git k. I think you have to install it. So this is if you want more. So with a very nice command, git branch, you can see. We can see your branch that you have for the current repository. Okay. The idea about branching, okay, maybe I can explain a little bit how I use it. I'm making experiments in computers, so I'm programming many experiments in MATLAB. So, for example, I want to have an experiment that you see only red dots. Okay, so I make a branch, call it git checkout red dots, and then I have my code. This experiment has only red dots, and then my supervisor comes, okay, Betty, what are you doing here? Red dots? No, we want blue dots. So I make another branch and make them blue. So I can keep, both versions of the experiment with the branching. So, you just switch from one branch to the other and you have your code there working. And usually, the main idea is that you create different versions with the branches and you usually merge everything to the master. So the master is like the master of the universe. So it's your main branch that has everything, has the most important stuff there. So let's make one branch. How shall we call it? We use git checkout with git checkout -b, and let's call it branch, new branch. Huh? Do I need? I don't need. Okay. So now if I do git branch, oh. Git status. So I'm in this new branch, and there's this magic thing that happens, So you are in this branch, and you see 5 folders, 5 files, and then you just check out to master. You do an ls, and you have 4. This is magic. You have 4. This is magic because you are in a different branch.
So yeah, you have like a big file, you did a lot of modifications there, and maybe in some cases you even forgot, okay, what did I modify there? And with -p, basically you see your modifications. And you see, okay, and it will even ask you, okay, do you want to add this part, yes or no? Or even you can edit it on the spot. It will go through all your changes, like it will take parts of it, and it will add them like one by one. Git add -p. Yeah, that's the command.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. How many I have?
Yeah,
Okay.
so you see your chunks basically of what you added, and you can say now, no, I don't want to stage this thing, or yes, I want to stage it, or you can even edit it, and the rest of the things I must say I don't know what they do, and you can say yes. And if you have like more changes, it would have appeared one after another one.
Okay, so first you need to add it, and then you add -p.
Yeah, it works on tracked files by Git.
Now, Patricia, I think he has Patricia will show you how it looks when you have many branches.
So I have my master branch, which is the default, and I have another branch that is called all languages. And why are these things called branch? It's because I started my project, and the first that I did was to add a hello file, empty one, and then I decided I wanted to say hello inside that file. You see, there is a point for each one of the commits. And then I started working because I thought it would be a good idea to say hello in different languages. So I created this other branch, which is called all languages. And as you can see, it's like a branch of a tree that comes out. And in that branch, I created a commit saying hello in more languages. But while I was doing that, I was thinking like, how do I have to say it in French? And then all of a sudden somebody interrupted me and told me, it's very important that you create a file that is called by. So I leave my work here in like a middle stage, I commit what I have. And then I came back to my master branch. You see, like the master branch is the green one, the all languages is the pink one. So I came back to master, I created a file saying bye, then I created another commit saying how are you. But at the same time, I have my main branch, like getting new versions, getting new commits, but I still keep this branch for whenever I have time to finish it. And then at any given moment in time, when I think like this is ready, I can add the changes from one branch into the other, and I will have all the code together.
Can you go to the terminal? So basically you can see also this from the terminal.
And you can see that from the terminal. In Axie is interesting. Not so. So I have the first two commit, then I create the branch. And this branch comes out here and has one commit only. And then this is my other, like my main tree.
So yeah, you see like, all the commits, this is master, and yeah, this is the message, this is the commit ID, and this was like, this is where she like split the branch basically. And this is actually her branch. You see here, this shows her branch. That this commit is on that branch still there.
And this one, like the main one, is said here that is master.
Yeah.
The default one is master.
And in case you are wondering what head does, basically it shows you what branch is being checked out at that point. Like here, for instance, head is on master because probably she's now on master.
Yeah.
Right. So if you will switch to all languages, you will see here head.
Head is the last commit you did in the branch you are right now. And the tool I was using, in case you are interested in using something like that to visualize it, is called source tree. And in this one, actually, you can make modifications and you can pick out, like if I open, I don't know, hello tasty, and I add one new line and another new line. This is sort of like cheating because it will let me select only one file for staging, only one line. sort of like with -p, but even more precise, because you can say exactly which lines. It's the only time I don't use the command line, when I want to pick up random, random lines.
You can talk, I can type. Okay.
Question.
Yeah.
So when you are on the new branch, whatever you commit, it lands on the new branch.
Yeah. Now you're on this new branch or whatever you call your branch, and you know, okay, you said finally, oh, I like these changes, everything works. So I really want, you know, to merge with my master. I really want to put it on the master. So it's like, you know, you're the master of the universe. You know, now God is ready, you know, you are ready to give your code to the master. So what you do, you check out to the master. So you are now in which branch? Yeah. Okay, you're in the master branch. And now you do this very nice commit, git merge, and the name of the branch that you want to merge. So you want to like putting two things together, overlapping things, overlapping files and stuff. So if you have the same file and you have different lines of code, different lines of code in both of the files, there will be one now. Okay. So let's see. Maybe you will have also some conflict, so we can see what the conflict is. So now you can, if you do an ls, so now we have all the files here. If you go to the other branch, you will see that we don't have all of the files. So just to check out to new branch. Oops, and the ls. Do we have the same files? Yes, we have the same file. Huh? Yeah.
Yes, because I think we had more files on the new branch than on the
yes,
master.
yes, that's why. So now the two branches, the master branch and the new branch are the same. Maybe shall we do a conflict? Let's make a conflict. It will be more interesting. Let's say that you have in one file that has 3 lines of code, and the other one doesn't have nothing. So when you do merge, there will be no conflict because you just the one that has 3 and the other one that has nothing, you just put them together. So it's nothing. There's no other conflict. But if you have 3 lines of code in the first file, and then in the other one you have changed all of the 3. You have 3 new. Then there will be a conflict.
So you see, I modified the file on master, and I added first line. And then I created a new branch, and I went to that branch, and I modified the same file in the same place, and I added make conflict branch. And now when I'm trying, I went back to master, and now I tried to merge my branch into master, and it says, okay, you have a conflict there, because on the same line, in the same file, there are 2 different things there. And basically now you have to fix this, either, okay, I want to keep both lines, or I don't want this line, or whatever you want. Maybe I don't want the first line. Basically you have to fix this conflict, and then you can commit and you can merge your branch. Yeah, so basically here what we just continued the same steps you can do over again, and create, I don't know, a new feature. You need to create so basically here, this is your feature branch, the one you wanted to make, I don't know, your buttons red or whatever you wanted to do, and then here is when your boss came and said, okay, wait, we need to fix this bug in master, for instance. And this is you can see here actually quite well, I think, that you can have some changes on this branch and some other changes on this branch, and this is working, let's say, in parallel. I don't know if you want to go again through all this. Do you think it's necessary to go through them again? Questions? Because I think we are kind of done from this point of view. Yeah, this just the commands that we showed you until now. And here. Basically we showed you the Git stages. These Git stages, basically this is kind of
most Git, let's say, a big part of Git, the important one. Like with Git add, Git commit, and branching. Yeah, and we also showed you a bit of merging. Now there are a bunch, you can do a bunch of other things with Git, but we didn't want to get that much into them. I don't know if you found this helpful, and if you want some more advanced things, like, I don't know, talking about Git rebase or reset or some other things, we can have another talk in the future. Just let us know. And we actually also wanted to play a bit with GitHub, but it might be a bit late. I don't know how you are feeling. So basically now we can, everything that we've done on our local, we can push it to GitHub, let's say. And we can see our work there, and on GitHub we can also like, you can create pull requests that with your changes for a particular branch, let's say, and you can have other developers review your changes and add some comments on your changes and other stuff like that. Or you can even create issues, like I don't know, you found a bug in somebody's project or something like that. Do you have GitHub account here? Can I just go to it?
You can also go to our lead.
Yeah. So this is basically GitHub. So this is the explore, the slash explore thing that I showed you in the beginning, and basically here you can find like public repositories based on, I don't know, different topics. And this is like, let's say, a repo. Let's go, I don't know.
What was that? Open Driver?
Yeah. Yeah, you can find like a bunch of repositories on different themes. Yeah, here. You can have a look, and if something interests you, you can. Yeah.
I wanted actually to tell you about these links because I find some of them quite helpful. So first of all, first is the documentation that you can find on git-scm. I found it quite nice to read. And the second two ones are actually, the first one is like a 15-minute learn Git in 15 minutes basically, and the second one, no? Is that one? Yeah. And the second one, there are some short guides that you can find on GitHub about the Git flow, the Git branching, and some other things. And these are like two pretty cool tools for learning branching. They are like some nice games. I can put this actually in the meetup comment or something like that. And here is like a cheat sheet with commands that we've done tonight.
Yes, thank you.
I will